Hi. It's nice to see you again. I hope you're doing okay. I'm very happy with myself for actually recording and doing audio recording within a 2-week period of my last video. That's a big win for me over the last couple of months. I'm so happy to see all of you, really. It's been a little overwhelming and really nice. I am surprised at how much I enjoy responding to comments and how much it just makes me really happy that there are other people in this world who want to hear me talk about my weird little books and probably enjoy their own weird little books or study or whatever it is that you do while you watch this video. Thank you. It's really nice. Not the last video. The last video I was having some significant audio issues. Hopefully this video sounds great. I hope. Funny story is that I was being a little crybaby on my Instagram account and talking about how I was so frustrated with the audio in my last video and why isn't it working? What's going on? What is the problem? I don't understand why this is so elusive. How did I manage to record 2 videos with what I thought was pretty nice audio and then suddenly have one that was not nice audio at all? And why was it okay on the phone but not okay on a TV? And I didn't understand any of it. For those of you who don't know, I have no idea what I'm doing. I kind of started this whole channel on a whim as a way to keep myself, I guess, holding myself accountable for, hey, you should be journaling more, you should be drawing more. What's going to make you do that? Oh, I know, let's turn it into a project, TM. And that's mostly worked. But anyway, I'm whining on my Instagram like a little crybaby about how, oh, why is this so hard? What's happening? And lo and behold, and I knew this about them, one of my good friends that, what was it? We met when I was in 8th grade. So for those of you who did not grow up in the American school system, so we would have met when I was 13. Yeah, 13. And we were friends from 13 until I graduated. Saw this person every day. Loved hanging out with him. And from the get-go, this guy is really into music, has always been into music. And I knew that he does like audio producing. Pretty sure he's a producer, or else works to help other people produce their music. Does like concerts, helps people record, things like that. And I knew this about him, but like, again, we haven't spoken since high school. And to put things into perspective, I graduated 14 years ago. That's a lot. I'm not going to think about that anymore. I graduated 14 years ago, and I didn't think anything of it. Like, we follow each other on social media, and like, I am always so happy to see when he's posting things. I'm so happy to see when things are going well for him, like, because we were really good friends. To me, I would not be the type of person that would like slide into somebody's DMs that I haven't spoken to in a decade and a half and be like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me with this? Because that just seems like rude. Like, I would only ever ask favors of people that I am very close to and people that I know well, like now, not people that I knew well 15 years ago. But as I'm whining and complaining on Instagram, this friend, I guess he must have come back from like a late day at work or something, happened to be online and responded and was like, hey, I actually would be a great resource for this. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what kind of microphone you have. What's your deal? And I gave over some basic information. I showed him my channel. I was like, hey, I really have no idea what I'm doing. And then the following Monday, he was like, okay, like, let's do a breakdown then. Here is microphones for absolute babies, number 1. And it was so helpful. And I feel like I learned a lot. I feel a lot more equipped to do a little bit more research into how to edit these things and like make them sound a little nicer. Hopefully this time everything sounds good. I really hope so. I really don't want to have to re-record everything again, but like, I'm pleased. And I'm even more pleased that it was like, now this friend that I was so close to growing up, we've had like some other conversations going back and forth since then. And it's just nice. It's just nice because we still like, whenever we were in school, like we would talk about video games, we would talk about music, and it was just a very fun friendship that meant a lot to me growing up. And it was nice to have that again and to be able to kind of poke at each other's interests, be like, oh, like you're into audio, here's this thing. And like, I posted some fan art that I found of Cult of the Lamb, and I posted some fan art on there, and he responded like, oh, I've never played it, I've been thinking about it. We got to talk about that again, and it's just nice. It's just nice. And hopefully now the audio sounds better, which makes me want to be more creative and do other things. And I'm just having a good time, which is great because audio recording used to not be a good time. And who knows, maybe I'll turn this off and I will start editing it and realize that it's not a good time again, but that's fine. I still feel better than I have. Welcome to September. Also, I'm happy to be in September. For those of you who do not know, my birthday is in September. So I have commandeered the entire month to be my birthday. Basically every single day is birthday to me, and that's probably a bit childish, but I don't care. I find joy. I will take joy in whatever form I can scrounge it up. The only problem that I have and that I am extremely frustrated with is that in my brain, September is fall. Now, this is not true. This is not true. This is absolutely 100% not true. And in fact, my birthday is before the autumnal equinox. And so it's like I wasn't even born in fall, but to me, in my brain, growing up with the media that I grew up with, because a lot of like the literature that I read as a child was like classics that took place on the East Coast, probably up in Maine, and like Little House on the Prairie and like Anne of Green Gables and things like that. But like all of these shows take place in a very different part of the country that I grew up in, or in the case of Anne of Green Gables, like an entirely different country, significantly farther north. And so like in my brain, I'm like, yes, September is back to school, which means you need sweaters and soup in your lunchbox and things like that. But meanwhile, I live in a country where it is 33 degrees. 33 degrees and has no sign of stopping for quite a long time. 33 degrees Celsius for those of you who are not part of the Celsius system. So I guess what, like 92? It's hot. It's hot, and I'm miserable and I'm frustrated because my brain wants September to be fall so badly. And on top of my brain wanting it to be fall, all of the content that I consume in terms of like YouTube or Instagram, even Tumblr, or the types of novels that I want to read right now, they're all fall and sweaters and pumpkins and let's get ready for fall and a fall art day with me, and they're all in like oranges and browns and dark greens, and I'm sitting here still sweating and miserable, and I hope that all of you are okay because I'm suffering. Summer is really hard for me. It makes me not want to exercise. It makes me not want to go outside, which of course affects my brain and affects my health, which is already tenuous at best. So I know a lot of people who are in study spaces or journaling spaces tend to be kind of inside folks in the first place, but I just hope that you're okay. I'm not okay. I wish I was. I wish it was colder. I would like it to be about 15 degrees colder than what it is right now, and it's not, and I'm sad. But hopefully as time goes on, it'll get better. Hopefully things will start to cool down soon. If I wish it hard enough, maybe it will be true. I really wanted to prioritize that, and I did prioritize that. I went to all of my doctor's appointments. I got a CT scan. I got medicine. We've been working through it. The end of the day was, oh, you have chronic sinusitis, which is so frustrating because there's nothing to do for sinusitis as far as I understand. It's just, you're chronically inflamed. Why? We don't know, but you're chronically inflamed. There's no blockage. We don't see any signs of infection. It's just inflamed and uncomfortable, which is a relief because it means that I don't have to get surgery or anything, but is also so hard because if it was a blockage, if it was my bone structure or something, that would be something that they could go in and do surgery and fix in theory. But unless we figure out what is inflaming my face, there's nothing to be done. We did an allergy panel. I am kind of allergic to grass, and that's it. Everything else is nothing. I'm low-grade allergic to catgrass and what's the other one? It was catgrass and timothy grass. That's it. Catgrass and timothy grass, which grow around. They're kind of all over the place. But it's not like I'm living in a field. And I don't have an intense allergy to them. It's a very mild allergy. It's on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 2. So, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard, and I'm frustrated. And because of the chronic sinusitis, I lost 2 full weeks of August to yet another sinus infection. That one actually was an infection, and I had a fever for a couple of days. It was so uncomfortable and so miserable. And so I feel like the things that I was trying to progress towards got put on hold for half of the month. So really I only got about 2 weeks of the things that I actually want to do and work on, which is so hard. I feel like things are getting better as a whole compared to last year. Now is much better, so that's good. But I'm impatient. I guess that's kind of the moral of the story here is I'm impatient for fall. I'm impatient to get better. I'm impatient because the things that I like are slow and learning is hard, and I'm a very impatient human being, I guess, is the moral of what I'm trying to say here. And it's hard. It's hard to be impatient. I have been on the trying to achieve the goals that I set myself for August. I have been cooking a lot more at home, and I found recipes that are easy and that I like. I made my own pizza sauce just to make a French bread pizza when a friend came over. It was so good. It was so good. It took 2 minutes. And I don't know why in my head, making pizza sauce is super hard. It's not. It's so easy. You put garlic and canned tomatoes and tomato paste and a little bit of olive oil and a tiny pinch of sugar into a blender and you pulse it, and then you're done, and you have some of the best pizza sauce I've ever had in my life. And this whole time I've just been buying the pre-made stuff. I'm like, what have I been doing? Like, why did I think that this was so difficult? There was another one. I made a like a ginger sesame sauce dressing. I guess it would be a bowl, not like a warm salad. Basically, I made like a, I don't know, like a poke bowl. I don't know, a bowl. I made a bowl of some roasted vegetables, some raw vegetables like some lettuce, some cucumber, some rice, some tofu, and I made a dressing, like a sesame ginger dressing, and it was so good. And again, it was something that took 2 minutes. The longest part of it was cutting the garlic. That was the hardest part. And it was so good. And then all I wanted to do for the next 3 days was make salads so that I could have this dressing on it. And I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought making anything other than just a vinegar and olive oil dressing was hard. It's not. It's really not. And I have a very low tolerance for cooking. And again, I'm impatient. So anything that takes more than the tiniest, ittiest bit of effort is just not going to happen. But this was fine. I also made paella. I've never made paella. I don't even know if that's the way that you pronounce paella. That's the way that I pronounce paella. I'm sorry for anyone who is from one of the countries that actually invented paella. I made paella and it was so good. And again, so easy. I think my main thing is that I haven't, I ran out of paprika, like the spice, the paprika spice, and I haven't replaced it. And so what I've been doing is I've been replacing paprika in these recipes with like cayenne pepper or like spicy peppers, which I realize are not the same thing, but again, impatient. And every time I make it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And then 3 seconds later, I'm like, wow, this is so spicy. But it's been good. The paella was especially good, and I topped it with some like vegan cheese, which like maybe you're not supposed to put cheese in paella, but it was so spicy. I made it way too spicy, but it was so tasty. And again, that's all I ate for like 2 days, and I was the happiest little clam. And I'm like, this was not hard. The hardest part was that I made the recipe that was for like 6 people, and I'm only one person. So the hardest part was getting it all in the pan that I use, because I just have a regular sized frying pan, not like a family sized pan. But that was the hardest part. And even that was not hard. I had to skim off some of the water. It was fine. It was great. It was delicious. I loved it. And today I made curry, like Indian curry. So good. Again, missing some ingredients, but I made it work anyway, and it's so good. And I don't know why I just haven't been doing this whole time. It's not, I know a lot of it was, in the past I struggled a lot with executive dysfunction, and I have definitely worked very hard to flex my executive function skills, and it's gotten a lot easier. But a lot of these things, this only took 10 minutes to do, and it feels like I built it up in my head to be this scary all-day event, and it's not. It's not. And I think I just need to remind myself of that regularly. The things that I want to do aren't that time consuming. They're not that difficult. The hardest part is probably cutting the garlic. And once I realize that, suddenly once I finish cutting the garlic, suddenly everything just goes so super fast. Oh my gosh, I made granola bars, which never would have even in a million years thought of making granola bars. I have only ever bought granola bars in my life, and the granola bars that I grew up with were like very oat and honey based. The granola bars that I can get where I live now are not oat based. They are normally like nut based. So like no real grain in there. Mostly just nuts and chocolate. I made granola bars myself, and I felt like a genius, because while I'm making these granola bars, I'm looking at the recipe And it says to put it into a pan, put it in the fridge for like 30 minutes, cut it, and then let it sit in the fridge for a while so it'll solidify, this and that. But I realized that this recipe makes 12 servings and I have a muffin pan. And so what I did is I just lined the muffin pan with little paper muffin cups and put the granola bars in there, and then put the muffin pan in the fridge, and lo and behold, perfectly portioned muffin-sized granola bars that I did not have to cut. That is one whole step that I didn't have to do, and I felt like Einstein. I was like, this is big brain. This is big brain. And I was so excited, and I'm still excited. I ended up making the recipe again, and it was really good. I think my only complaint is that the recipe that I used kind of makes the granola bars taste like no-bake cookies. If you've ever had no-bake cookies, they're basically oats and cocoa powder and peanut butter, and you mix it all on low heat on a pot on the stove, and then you dollop them out on a cookie sheet, and then you leave them, and you're done. This one was basically that, except that there's no cocoa powder, and there were a couple of other different ingredients that make it not quite a no-bake cookie, but I think it's because the main base is peanut butter. So I really want to try and experiment with making a nut-free one. I haven't been successful yet, but I'm determined. I'm ready. I'm ready to try. Now that I know that I can just make 12 little individual granola bars and it takes 15 minutes max, why not? Why not? The worst that happens is I end up with a sweet, sweet little treat. And I love sweet treats. I also, in the last video, and I'm so sorry. I doubt that you were actually able to hear me or understand me, but I was talking about how in my books, I like matching my ink to the lines and the color of the month in the Hobonichi. I really liked the blue for July. I thought that was really nice. For August was kind of like a steel gray blue, and so I decided to try a gray ink. And it looks fine, but I didn't really enjoy it very much. One of the things that I mentioned was that when you are switching months in the Hobonichi, it's frustrating to me because I will want to use the color that corresponds to that next month, but I only carry around one fountain pen, so what am I going to do? And one of the things I was thinking of was, let's try putting the ink for the new month in my super special fancy fountain pen. And I tried that, and I think the fancy pen is clogged. You can kind of see me in this video struggle with it, and I'm doing the best that I can, but it's not working properly. The old ink color is still in the pen, and so I've had the pen nib of the super fancy pen sitting in a cup of water for a couple of days. I've been swapping out the water. Once it gets dirty, I swap it out. And I don't know. I just don't know what to do. I also don't carry around two pens. I just don't. Again, impatient. Whatever is going to make the ease of starting zero, that's what I'm going to do. So I don't know. I may just have to accept that when I'm switching between months, I am going to have some pages that have little notes from the wrong color, and that's fine. Maybe I can think of it like a message from past me saying, hey, remember there's this thing and I'm looking out for you. Good luck. Happy future. I don't know. So we'll see. I'll see if I can fix the fancy fountain pen. And for now, I guess I'll just deal with it. I'm also very happy to be back in brown ink. I did not like the way that the grayish ink looked in August, and now that September has actually started and I'm in brown ink with brown papers, it's really nice and I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm having a good little time in my books, writing down silly little notes about silly little things. Anyway, that was that was a lot of yapping. Hopefully that's okay. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm so happy you're here again. For those of you who are part of the Hobonichi community, my heart goes out to you if you were wanting a specific color or book or something from the launch on September 1st. I ended up not buying anything, but I saw from a lot of people online that like the website wasn't functioning properly and things sold out super duper fast, and it just seemed like kind of a miserable time, and it makes me sad. It makes me sad to see people sad about our silly little books, because everyone deserves to have a book that makes them happy if they want to be in books. And it's sad. It's sad when things don't work out the way that they should. I know that the Himitsu Stranger book that I wanted sold out within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I've tried looking again and it still shows that it sold out despite Hobonichi supposedly fixing the site, so it might just be gone. I might just have to wait a while. I did that. I waited for a couple of years there was a book that the Hobonichi company produced. It was one of the founders of Nintendo. They interviewed him and did like a biography, and I had to wait maybe a year or two to buy it secondhand so that I could read it, because the website sold out almost immediately. So I might have to do that with the Himitsu Stranger book, which is unfortunate because I really, if you haven't seen it, the Himitsu Stranger covers and art and the art book they're so fun. They're so fun. It's just a bunch of little guys, and I love a little guy. But anyway, for those of you out there suffering, I'm suffering too, just maybe in a slightly less intense way than some other people. I hope that they restock. And if they don't restock, I hope that you're able to find a cover that works for you, or a book that works for you and that you enjoy. And I hope that you enjoyed this little video. It's not super productive, it's just a little flip through, a little tiny fill in, and struggling with my fountain pen, but hopefully my yapping kept you company, and hopefully you got some book work done as well. I'll see you in the next one, okay? Bye for now.